Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. And man, I just spent the last 3 hours in the dang license bureau getting tags and everything. That is such an ordeal. If you guys know what I'm talking about, I guess it depends on the city you're in, but man, here in Springfield, it is like an all-day deal. They need to get like 10 more license bureau setups in town here, so just got done with that. And just gonna talk about today's tip. It's not really a tip, but it's sort of a story based upon a couple of questions I got. A lot of people asked me what the biggest fish I've ever caught was, and I'm going to tell you guys about the story when I caught a 300-pounder with Martens. So we'll get into that. But anyway, just going to remind you guys real quick. I had some people asking about it, about my dad. He got moved into a rehab facility yesterday. Looks like he's going to be in there about a month or so before he can come home, but he's doing a little bit better, but it's just sort of a long road. But he's definitely improved from what he was the last couple weeks, so appreciate you guys asking about. And one final thing, I just wanted to remind you guys, if you guys are out looking to purchase a new boat, I'm going to include the Summit Finance link through Boatworks that I'm working with. And if you guys go through Summit Finance for your financing and mention my name, you get a $100 gift certificate to Baitworks, the tackle store there, online or the physical store. And you know, it doesn't matter where you buy your boats. You can buy it off of Boatworks, you can buy it at another dealer, off a friend. You can still get financing there. These guys are fishermen that run Summit Financing, so they can really help you out, so check that out. Okay, let me tell you guys about this story about the biggest fish I've ever caught in my life. This was in 2009. Martens and I were on vacation together down in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. And it's the first time that I've ever been to the ocean. I'd never fished in the ocean before, and I always wanted to. So this was the first opportunity I got to do that. And if you guys have never been down to Cabo San Lucas, it's on the western shore of the Pacific down there, the water's just beautiful. It's just like, you know, aqua blue, really crystal clear. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous water down there. It really is beautiful. But Aaron and I were down there staying for vacation, and part of the package in the little resort we were staying at is you got to go out with a guide if you wanted to, you know, to go fishing. And I've been wanting to go blue marlin fishing forever. I mean, I always wanted to catch a blue marlin. Aaron had caught some before and told me about it, and I knew I probably wouldn't get many chances to go again. So we decided to get a guide and go out for the day. So anyway, the morning of our trip down there, you know, we walked down to the marina, which was just basically walking down the beach from where we were staying at on the beach, on the hotel on the beach there. And we find our boat we're going out to, find our guides with the guide slip, and Aaron and I walked up to this boat, and I was figuring it would be some really slick, professional looking rig, you know, guides, you know, Cabo San Lucas. And it's this beat up, you know, probably 40-year-old, 30-foot cruiser type boat. And we got looking around on it, and there was no electronics, no GPS. There wasn't even a compass on the boat, nothing. It was just a boat with nothing on it. And there was 2 rods in the rod racks, and these rods were like 6 feet tall, and they were about that big around, and it looked like they had about 200-pound test mono on it. And Aaron and I got looking at it, and the line was all frayed up by the hook, and the hooks were super dull. And so we start looking at each other. It's like, what's going on here? So finally our guides came in, these 2 Mexican dudes that could barely speak English, didn't have any water in the boat, didn't have any food in the boat. Aaron and I had a bottle of water each that we brought out there. So anyway, we got no food, water, they got no electronics, nothing. And so we take out, you know, in this rig. I didn't really know what to expect, and so there was a lot of other guides going out at the same time. They all sort of went out together. So these guys that we were with, they just started following other boats out into the ocean, and we get out there probably, I don't know, just barely. We can still see land, barely, not very good, but just barely see land. And they just cast out those 2 rods with these big mackerels on them and started trolling with them. And they're up there on top of the deck just talking, not really paying attention to anything. And Aaron and I are down there, you know, on the deck, you know, just trolling down there. They don't even know where they're going. Like I said, they're not running any contour lines. There's no electronics on the boat. There's nothing. They're just out randomly trolling out in the middle of the ocean there. So Aaron and I looked at each other, and it's like, as pro fishermen, we know that these guys are clueless. They don't know what they're doing. So after about 3 hours, you know, we hadn't had a bite, and Aaron was getting hungry at the time, you know, so he's like starving to death. So he gets into the bait box and he gets out about a 14-inch mackerel, and he flays it out and eats it right on the boat there. Just a raw mackerel we were using for bait. I thought that was pretty funny. And I was starting to get seasick. I mean, I get motion sickness real bad, so I'm getting sick. We're not catching any fish, you know, pretty choppy out, and fish just aren't biting. But in about 3 hours into it, Aaron and I looked up and we saw these fish were schooling. I'm talking, when you talk schooling bass, I'm used to schooling largemouth and white bass. These giant fish were busting the surface chasing these mackerel about probably a quarter mile away. These Mexican guides, they didn't even see it. They were oblivious. So we point over there. It's like, let's go over there. Let's go over there. So they get on the boat and they move us over there. We cast out into the schooling fish, and I hook one, a marlin, a big one. And I told the guys, they wanted to put me down in the seat and put the rod in one of those holders. I said, no, I want to stand up and I want to get the full experience fighting this thing, holding the rod with no help at all. So, you know, I get up there on the side of the boat, and this fish is stripping line. It's basically, it feels like you tied the end of the rod onto your trailer hitch on your truck, and it took out with it. And this fish, I'm just holding on as hard as I can. It's stripping out line, and it comes up and jumps. And guys, I have never seen anything like this in my life. You see like a 12-foot fish, probably 10 to 12 foot long. I don't know how big it was a giant. Jumps 5-6 feet out of the air about a dozen times. And it was the most thrilling thing I have ever seen, to see that giant fish glimmering in the sun and that crystal clear water. And this fight goes on forever. Like I said, I'm holding this fish just with the rod. I don't have any help at all. And finally, this fight went on forever. I'm talking like I'm 30, 40 minutes into this fight, and I'm just now starting to get the fish close to the boat. I am completely soaked with sweat. I mean, this was like one of the most physical. It was more of a physical fight than I've ever done in the most extreme working out environments I had. I was completely drenched, completely soaked. My arms were getting really tired from holding this giant fish. And we get it up by the boat, and they get it up there, and it comes along the surface and sort of lays there, and measured it. And this thing was, like I said, it was right at 11 or 12 feet long, and they've got a way to calculate it, and they figured it at about 300 pounds. It was beautiful fish, just like blue silver in the water. I'd never forget it. We got some pictures, but somehow over the years, I don't know what happened, I've lost the pictures I had of that fish. And so after we get it up there, I said, okay, let's get it unhooked and release it. And the guide said, no, we take back. And I said, no, we're not going to take this fish back. We're going to release this fish. They said, no, we want to take this fish. I said, no, we're not taking this fish. We're going to release it back alive. So they got down there and unhooked it, and they were pissed. They were so mad that we released that fish, because they wanted to keep it themselves. But there is no way that I would have ever killed a 300-pound marlin, such a beautiful creature like that. So watching that thing swim down in that gin clear water, you could watch it swim down for 30 or 40 feet down there. It was an experience that I'll never get. The guides were pissed. They took us back to the deal there. So we had the worst guides you could possibly have, but had the opportunity to catch a fish of a lifetime like that 300-pound marlin. And like I said, Aaron had caught some before, like 150 pounders before, so he was familiar with it. But that was the trip, man. That was the biggest one I caught, 300-pound marlin with Aaron Martens. So it was a great trip. I'll never forget that. You know, spending that time with Aaron down there was just a great experience. And you know, one of the things that I would like to do at some point, I would like to go catch one of those giant great white sharks, like a 20-footer. That would be like a bucket list thing. So maybe one day things line up right, I might get to try that. So anyway, that's the story, guys. Hope you all doing good, and we'll check in later. See you.